A very pleasant morning, my dear students. We are again here for the topic of gravitation. In the last video, we learned about Kepler's laws. And we also knew that Kepler noticed planetary motion follows some rules, but the reason behind it he couldn't find. After that, in the 17th century, Sir Isaac Newton again studied on planetary motion. He also studied Kepler's laws, and with the help of Kepler's laws, he postulated a new theory that is called as universal law of gravitation. Today, we are going to learn about Newton's universal law of gravitation. But before that, we must have to know what are the conditions for the law and what are the statements of the law. What is the first condition? The first condition is that the object should have mass, and the second condition is there must be some distance between two objects. As we learned, every object pulls other object with the invisible gravitational force. What is the law? Let's see. For statement, the Newton said that the force between two objects is directly proportional to their masses. What does it mean? Just see with one activity. See here. Here are two blocks. I kept it on the table. This is block 1 and this is block 2. The first condition is fulfilled. The objects have mass. And what is the second condition? There must be some distance between them. Now, according to the first statement, what Newton said? The force in between these two objects is directly proportional to the product of their masses. Suppose consider this block has mass m1. See here. This block has mass m1 and the another block has mass m2. Now can you guess what will be the force in between these two objects? As per the statement, yes, the force is equal to the product of the masses. The product is 1 into 1 means there must be the force in between these two objects is of 1 Newton. Is of 1 Newton. See here. It means that both the objects pull each other with the same force, that is of the 1 Newton force. And what is the direction of the force? The direction is opposite, but the magnitude of the force will be the same. Now, for understanding, again we have to take a block. We are taking a block and we double the mass of one object. If we double the mass of one object, what will be the force in between them? Think about it. Got it? Got the answer? Yes. Again calculate the product between them. Here now the mass is of 2m. Now we double the mass and the mass is 2m1. So what will be the product? Product is 2 into 1, that is 2. It means now the force will not remain 1 Newton. It will change according to the product of the masses and it will now become 2 Newton force. What we learn here? If the mass changes, the force in between two objects also changes. And it is directly proportional to the product of the masses. See once again. Here, now we triple the mass of one object. Now we triple the mass of one object. Now, the new mass is 3m2. Now, the new mass is 3m2. Now see what will be the force in between. Will it remain 2 newtons? No, naturally it will not remain 2 newton, but it will change according to the product of the masses. And what is the product of the mass? 2 into 3. It means product is 6, and that's why now the force will not become 2 newton, it will become 6 newtons. So, do you understand? The first statement of the law, the gravitational force between two objects is directly proportional to the product of the masses. Now in this example we see that object is 2m1 and here the object mass is 3m1 and their product is 6. Therefore there must be the force is of 6 Newton. So we will see the second statement. See the second statement of the law. The second statement states that the force is inversely proportional. The force is inversely proportional to the square of distance between two objects. What does it mean? It means that if distance increases, force will decrease. If we decrease the distance, force will increase. Means the force is inversely proportional to the square of the distance. This second statement is also called as inverse law. This second statement is also called as inverse square law, and this law is postulated with the help of Kepler's law. So let's see what will happen if we increase the distance between two objects. Here see in this example we calculated the force was 6 Newton. Now what will happen to the force if we increase the distance? If we double the distance, what will be the force? Will it be 6 Newtons or it will change? So we will see on the blackboard. What was the first statement? The first statement was force is directly proportional to the product of the masses of two objects. And what was the second statement? The force is inversely proportional to the square of the distance. Now we have taken their product that was coming 6, and therefore here in this condition the force was of 6 Newton. When we double the distance, what happened? To take double distance, we have to take force directly proportional to double distance means 2r square. So here what will happen? The force is of 6 Newton and the distance will be, it's a square, therefore it's a 4r square. When we divide 6 with 4, the answer comes to be 1.5 Newton. So what we see here, when we double the distance between the object, the force will be 1/4 of the original force. Where we have calculated the original force was 6 Newton, and when we double the distance between the object, the force will be 1/4, and that will be the 1.5 Newton. So we will take for understanding another example. What will happen to this force? What will happen to this force if we half the distance? If we half the distance, so we bring in these two blocks in this position. Here we half the distance between them. What will be the force? So for calculating this, here we have to double the distance. Now we have to half the distance. Therefore the equation will be force is inversely proportional to half the distance means r by 2 square. R by 2 square. Next step is force is equal to the original force we have taken here 6 Newton. So 6 Newton upon r square upon 4. After simplifying, it will come to F is, after simplification, F is equal to 6 Newton upon R square into 4. So what will be the answer? The answer will 6 into 4, 24 Newtons. We see that here we learn that the force between two objects is inversely proportional to their distances. If we double the distance, force will be 1/4, and if we half the distance, force will be 4 times more than the original force. So here in this universal law of gravitation, the two statements were force is directly proportional to product of the masses and force is inversely proportional to the square of their distances. On combining these two equations, what will be the final equation? The final equation will force is directly proportional to m1 m2 upon r square. So after that we have to, if we have to convert this equation into proportionality equation, we have to add proportionality constant instead of this proportional sign. This proportionality reaction into equation, we must have to add the constant of proportionality. So here we take constant of proportionality as capital G. So the equation will be, instead of proportionality sign, we will take is equal to capital G. This capital G is the universal constant. It is the constant of proportionality sign, and rest of the things as it is m1 m2 upon r square. What is special about this universal constant? This universal constant has a value, and this value was found by Henry Cavendish, the scientist Henry Cavendish, and this value is 6.67 into 10 raised to the power minus 11. This is so small, very negligible value which is measured by the scientist Henry Cavendish. If we have to know what are the units of this universal constant, so again rearrange the formula. When we rearrange this formula, we will get G is equal to F m1 m2 upon r square. Sorry. So after rearranging this formula, we will get the value of G, or we have to calculate the units of G. Here the formula will be F r square upon m1 m2. Now when we put the units of this, we will get the units of gravitational constant, that is of capital G. So here G, its units are force, unit of force is Newton, distance square means meter square, and mass into mass, kilogram into kilogram means kilogram square. So this is the unit of universal constant. No need of remember it, just we derive from its formula. So this value of G is 6.67 into 10 raised to the power minus 11 and has units Newton meter square upon kilogram square. We can write it as G is equal to 6.67 into 10 raised to the power minus 11 Newton meter square kilogram minus. We can also write by this type. So what is special about this capital G, universal gravitation constant? Its value is very small, that is 6.67 into 10 raised to the power minus 11 Newton meter square per kilogram square. How tiny is this force? To feel this force, we have taken an activity. See here, I kept two books. One book, assume the mass is 1 kg, and here another book, assume the mass of 1 kg, and these two books are separated by the distance of 1 meter. what will be the force in between them? How to calculate? See here, by this formula, F is equal to G m1 upon m2 upon m1 m2 upon r square. By substituting the values from this activity, value of G is 6.67 into 10 raised to the power minus 11. M1 is 1, M2 is also 1 and distance is also 1 square. So the final value will be 6.67 into 10 raised to the power minus 11. How tiny is the value? We can write by this also. 0.10 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. And 6, 6, 7 Newton. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 6, 6, 7 Newton. This much tiny force is this in between two books. So the books are not pulled towards each other by this force. Another forces also acted on this book, that are the gravitational force is there and the force of friction of table is also there. And so small this force is which cannot overcome these two forces, the two forces which are gravitational force and the frictional force. Therefore, there is the invisible force in between two books, but they cannot pull toward each other due to this negligible force. So, this much negligible force is in between these two objects, therefore they cannot pull towards each other. See, what is special about capital G, that is universal gravitational constant. The special thing about G is G has same value in the entire universe. G has same value in the entire universe no matter which two bodies you are considering. So this is the special thing about capital G. It is same everywhere in the universe. What we learn in today's session, see the summary of this. The first point, the force of gravitation is always attractive. In physics, force is the push or pull on the object, but this gravitational force is always attractive. Second point, the gravitational force is a force at a distance, means it is a non-contact force. There is no contact, there must not be contact between two bodies. What is the third point? Two forces are equal and opposite. When two bodies are there and there is a force of attraction between them, the force is of equal magnitude but the force is in the opposite direction. What is the next point? Forces are independent of intervening medium. If there are two bodies and in between them there is a vacuum or it is filled with the ocean, there is no effect on these forces. Next point is, this force is independent of the presence of other bodies. If there is a moon in between sun and earth, the force will not be affected. Next point is, it's a long range force. Means this force can be in between stars, planets and moons also. And the last point is, this force is the weakest force in the nature. So, in the today's session, we learned about Newton's universal law of gravitation. I hope you have enjoyed the session, and this is the time to say bye-bye. We will meet in the next video. Thank you.